Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more Crusader Kings 2 in our tutorial series. We started off the game with our strong claim on the Petty Kingdom of Tara. Petty Kingdom is basically the same thing as Petty Kingdom of Tara. So this guy here controls Kildare, and we have a strong claim on the Petty Kingdom of Tara, which is the Duchy. And he is the Petty King of Tara. So even though his capital is up here and the land that he owns is in Tyrone, he has the Duchy of Tara and he's the Duke of this area. So if we were to declare war and try to take that Petty Kingdom, we would become the Duke ourselves, and then we would gain this character here as a vassal, the Earl of Kildare. So that would elevate us to Duke status, which would be very nice. It would probably be a good idea to attack him soon. Mayor Frederick, my co-conspirator, has sent word that a massive pit of manure has been prepared under the floorboards of an abandoned inn on a path King Louis will travel with his escort. Once they are seated at a table, kaboom! So, because we have enough plot power, we're seeing random events fire to try to kill that character. Now keep in mind, we're just some random Count in Desmond, but we're engineering the death of a King of Aquitaine. So remember in the very beginning when I said that you have huge influence on the world around you. A single Count can cause kings to die, just by starting a kill plot. We succeeded with our plot to kill King Louis the Stammerer. Success. He died in a manure explosion. There is no trace of my complicity to be found amongst the rubble. Louis went out with a bang. Now, unfortunately, he has a son of his own, but children are remarkably easy to kill in this game, which is something I've actually complained about on the forums before. You notice how he has no intrigue. He's not very good at this political game, so it's very easy to get plot power against him. So if we try to kill the kid, we're probably going to get him to die just as fast as King Louis died. Now his heir is going to be Carloman Carling, which is going to be, his brother? So we have a few more children to work our way through, but after Carloman Carling dies, it's going to go to Charles Carling. Charles Carling is Charles the Bald, the King of France. So we're uniting Aquitaine and West Francia. Why on earth would we want to do that? Well, it makes us have a stronger ally. Right now we're allied with West Francia, not Aquitaine. If he controls this land, our ally is stronger. That's good for us. Coincidentally, or additionally, if all of his other family members die, then there's a pretty good chance that one of his two women that I'm sleeping with will end up inheriting, and we can make that part of our territory. And even if that plot fails, that path, we can still try to just expand and become the Irish king. An old weather-bitten diplomat has served in most of the courts in Europe, agreed to take you under his wing for a few days. So a random event, notice the blue background, again related to this, and now we have succeeded in our ambition to improve diplomacy, because we hit 8. So we gained 100 prestige for that, which is another really good reason to take those ambitions. Now we need to pick a new one. We should take the ambition to have a son, because we have no children right now. And it doesn't say it in here, but there's a massive boost to fertility if you have the ambition to have a child. 25% bonus per character. So if we have the ambition to have a son, and if our wife's ambition is to have a daughter or a son, then she's got a fertility bonus. Fertility is this really weird number. It averages about 50%. In fact, just to show you, I'll turn on char info for a second. You can see that she's got 60% fertility. See the debug info toward the bottom? 60% fertility, wants to have a daughter. Oh, she's pregnant right now. Well, that's nice to know. Pregnant with child of Earl Koo, known father. That's nice. So our wife is pregnant despite being not happy with us for sleeping with her sister. We have that lover. She's not pregnant. She has fertility 75%, which is very high. But again, she wants to have a daughter as well. Oh, my lover has left. Interesting, I missed that. She did leave our court. I'm guessing what happened is the King of West Francia invited her back to court and then married her off. That's unfortunate. It's difficult to sleep with her when she lives in Asturias. Damn. Let's turn off char info, because that's a little bit cheating. To access the console, you press the tilde key, which is the button to the left of your 1. Then you just type char info, one word. So anyway, well, that's too bad. We had some fun times, and there's the event letting us know that our wife is pregnant. Well, let's hope that it's a boy. Now, the only reason I haven't declared war on the King of Tara, or the petty King of Tara, he's calling himself a king because that's what the Irish did. Irish dukes would call themselves kings, even though they weren't actually kings. We're going to set him as special interest because I want to see when he ends his war, or when he's no longer at war, which is actually now. Apparently Jorvik won his war and did this whole thing here. If you declare war on someone who's defending against heathens, you have to pay piety, and so we were avoiding that, but now that he's not doing it, we're going to go ahead and claim Tara. Now you might think that this is suicide, and it nearly is, because we have no troops and no money. We have 831 troops. This fellow has 115. We're going to try to win the war without having to hire any mercenaries, but we'll see if it actually works or not. So what we've just done is we've raised the levy. Now, there's a couple ways to do that. You could click on your county and then click this button here to raise local liege levies. It'll raise everything in this county. You can also go to the military screen, which is what I did, and click this button here, raise personal levies, raise vassal levies. Now, unlike a lot of other games where you have a lot of control over the type of troops that you have, in this game you have very, very, very little. You're always going to have this hodgepodge mix of just stuff. You can have light infantry, you can have pikemen, archers, heavy infantry, light cavalry, special units maybe, heavy cavalry, and then galleys are separate. They're boats. So in our army, we've got mostly heavy infantry. If you hover over it right there, you can see 265 LI, or light infantry, 393 HI, heavy infantry, 4 pikemen, 90 light cavalry, 103 archers. And that's just going down the list and adding it all up for you. Now, if you want to, you can reorganize the unit, and you can move the different components around. But again, unlike some games where you can actually say, okay, I want all the archers on this flank, and I want all of the heavy infantry in the center. Nope. If it came from the barony of Dunaseid, it stays together. This levy is locked. It cannot be split. So the only way to move things around is to just send the whole army from one side to another. Now, there is another feature in the game called retinue, which we'll talk about when we actually have the ability to make them. But for now, we have more men than they do. And unfortunately, that's usually how the game works. If you have more men than the enemy does, you win. So we're going to take our army and march it over. Unlike quite a few other games where you actually have to get military access, you can just march wherever the hell you want. Just march right through Thomond, and they can't stop us. So we're going to march over to Kildare. Notice how there's like a highlighted red area? That is territory that we need to get. Now, unfortunately, the King of Tara has called in an ally. He's called in the King of Scotland. King of Scotland has 343 troops, though, because he just fought that war with Jorvik, which is quite good. We might be able to get by without actually having to hire any mercenaries. Now, hey, and right on cue, we get a claim on the county of Thomond. My liege, my work in Thomond seems to have come to fruition. By bribing, cajoling, extorting, threatening, and forging documents, I have managed to fabricate a claim on the county of Thomond that is presently held by the Earl. I leave it up to you as to whether or not to use it. 19 gold. We lose 50 prestige because it's kind of not very honorable to fabricate claims. But for 19 gold, we're going to get a strong claim on that county until our character dies. It says that it will not be inherited by a successor unless pressed in war. So unlike this strong claim on the petty kingdom of Tara, we need to declare war before this character dies, or this fabricated claim just goes away. Unfortunately, we already declared this war, so let's go fight this war. And these people, they ended up not joining the plot, even though at first they said they would. Every now and then it can be useful to click that button and then click it again, just to refresh it. Those people said that they would join, but then they decided against it. Perhaps what we can do as well is just cancel the plot and then go kill his brother first. See if they're more willing to kill the heir. We just want to get above 100. Oh, look at that, 227%. That kid's not going to last long. Now, we can call in allies. We can try to call in West Francia. Why not? For the sake of doing it, we will. I mean, that's the whole purpose. The purpose of this initial marriage was to get an alliance. It's still not guaranteed. It still says maybe, but he does like us, so let's see what he has to say. Of course, I will honor my obligation to answer your call to war. Now, there's only one drawback, and that's that if we click on his character and we go look at his realm tree, we can see the total number of troops that he has. Yes. What we want to also check is, like, do you have any boats? Like, are you going to be able to get to us? And to do that, you can, like, click on the coastal provinces and just see here if he has any galleys. And unfortunately, this early in the game, he might not even have any boats. So calling him to war probably is not going to help us at all. And unfortunately, in Crusader Kings 2, there's no such thing as relative strength of the alliance, so he's not going to be, like, afraid of the fact that we've got this guy in the war. It's all just going to come down to who occupies the territory. And there's a plot to kill that kid. Sieges in this game are much simpler. We've killed the boy. Success, and she wasn't caught. This world is too cruel for children. Oh, sorry about that. So now our ally is the heir. Let's try again, see if we can get that plot to fire. So as I was saying, sieges in this game are much simpler than they are in, say, EU4. Basically, it works like Victoria 2. As long as you have more troops than they have defenders, then you're going to apply pressure on the morale of the enemy. Their morale can't recover, and it will just tick down every 12 days by a certain percentage. The base reduction is 20%. It would go down by 20% every 12 days, but then it gets multiplied by the province. The holding fort level is modified in there. So notice how it says fort level times 0.25. You take the fort level plus 1 divided by, 1 divided by 1 plus the fort level. So that's why it's multiplied by 0.25. And then the fact that we're outnumbered, the relative scale of our force to their force, and then technology. And it all works out to 5.1% every 12 days. So you just wait X number of days and their morale goes down and then you win. Now you can also assault the holding. You can assault the holding, it might take serious losses. Generally, don't do that unless you have at least 10 times their value of troops. So if we had, say, 6,000 men, assault would probably be faster. While you're sieging, if me that you have sieging this province is led by a character. Like, if the army itself... What am I trying to do here? You actually have to click this army and tell it to go elsewhere. Like, if you do that, you don't lose siege progress. But you can look at it. If there is a person in charge of the army, then there's a possibility for events to fire that will cause you to lose troops or gain morale, lose morale, they gain morale, they lose morale, they lose troops, you lose troops. If you want to avoid all of that, you can just take the army and resign all of the commanders, and then you'll have no siege events. That's actually kind of an exploit because the events are tied to characters. Everything in this game is tied to characters. So if there are no characters, the events just can't fire. Which can avoid attrition. There is no attrition, by the way, to be in territory like this. You're not going to just lose 1% of your troops each month for being in a siege. But there's an event, for example, right there. Hey, we have a daughter. An outbreak of disease in the camps outside the walls of Kokulin has killed many of the besiegers. Now, I have these set as high priority. We'll put them up to pop-up windows so you can see them for a little bit, but they're kind of annoying. In the message settings, if you right-click on that, you can change the priority of certain messages. Now, our spy master has just identified a plot. Somebody seeks to kill Cathnia. But before we look at that, let's talk about these siege event or these notifications. Pop-up window is a pop-up window. It's going to stop the game. It's going to show up right in front of your screen. High priority tab is this over here. this one, that's high priority. Low priority is this one. High priority makes a noise and is generally usually more important. Low priority is just other stuff. It doesn't really matter. Show only in the log is going to be this down here, the message log. If you want, you can leave that open and just see all kinds of stuff that's happening. Disable the message altogether, and if you want it to pause the game or not. So for now, we'll put it as high priority. Alright, let's go look at their plot screen. Known plots under the Intrigue tab. So, Ongus is trying to kill Cathnia, our current heir, our grandson. So we're going to go ahead and take him and just, we can throw him in prison. We can tell him to stop. We can order him to take his vows. I'm going to just tell him to, please politely not try to kill my son, my grandson. That'd be great. Your demand is just. Yeah, indeed it is. Stop it. Now there is a hostile force, the army of Ormond. Look at this, he's called in quite a few people. Alright, we've won our siege. When you win sieges, you gain money. You gain value equal to the taxation of the province times 2. So we got 9.2 gold for taking that province. Without the looted penalty, it would have been higher in there. So that's nice. We did lose 51 men due to siege events. And yeah, we got some money out of it. We don't have enough people. That's what that little symbol means. There's just not enough men to actually siege this value. So we would need to hire some more troops or just move on. We did pick up 15% occupation score for that. In order to win, he has to... Come on, you pansy. We need more war score to gain that kingdom. Let's see if we can go win some battles. Let's make sure we have somebody in charge of our flanks. Want to always have somebody in charge of every flank. There's a smaller force here. Let's go kill the smaller force if possible. He's going to be gone by the 29th. So we're going to make like we want to move to this province, scare him off, and then go towards this one so he stops moving. And then we'll see our first bit of combat. Now, unfortunately, he has a hills advantage. Unlike, say, EU4, where it's there's no rhyme or reason to the combat. It'll just tell you, if you go Q for terrain, you can hover over any county in the game, and it'll tell you exactly what the combat will be. So we can see right here, hills. If combat takes place here, the defender will get a defensive bonus. Very simple. If you click on a province, there's a river crossing indicator right here. It'll tell you every other province that there's a river crossing to. So if you're in this county and you go to Thomond, you will experience a river crossing. But even though there's a river that very clearly goes right here, there's no technical river crossing between this province and Kildare. It's nice to know. Something that I have complained about for a very, very long time, and they need to add to EU4. Alright, I'm going to take a break here. We'll talk about this battle in the next video and how combat works. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.